we are going to introduce in just a few moments Raquel Royers, and she's actually Watch Me Sip on Instagram. And I think during the day, her day job, she's marketing for wine, but at night and otherwise, she is doing this Instagram account and really talking about wines that are interesting and sort of out there and maybe even a little boutique-y and that you haven't heard of. So we're excited to have her join. I don't think she's tried Flambeaux before, so that should be fun. And then we'll do our thing where we kind of add you guys in. If you're drinking, we want to see what you're drinking. And then we'll do our trivia question as become the tradition. And there'll be a little prize there. We'll announce the winner of our photo contest. And we'll talk about what's coming up. So that is intro, and we will kind of dig right in. We did ask, by the way, if you have questions, winemaker questions, stump the winemaker. By the way, the winemaker's not here, but I'll do my best to answer your questions. So if you have some questions, let us know. We do have a few from our post that we're definitely going to try to answer. And then we'll take it from there. So let's add in, can you see if anybody's trying to join right now, Nia?
It says that someone's joining, but when I tap on it, it turns the camera around.
Okay, we'll see.
Technical difficulties.
This is always the way with our little lives. Keep focused. We'll see. Okay.
You're fired, Nia.
I got it. So remember right here, see where the one is?
We have a question.
Okay.
What variety
That's what I
is the
pressed
rosé?
on.
Oh, I can answer that.
Got it. Question came in. We'll answer that as Raquel's joining. Hopefully, we'll see her in a second. What
Hi.
grapes are in the rosé?
Zen and Cab, actually, from this property.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And hopefully, there we go. Okay. There's a bit of a delay on this one, so I'm just going to talk straight to the phone. Can you hear me okay, Raquel?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit here. Hopefully that's maxed out. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're back. I can hear you better, so that's good. So, Raquel, why don't you tell everybody a bit about yourself so they kind of know where you're coming from?
Sure. So everybody that doesn't know me, I am Raquel. My Instagram is Watch Me Sip. I live in Napa, so I'm on the other side of the hill from you guys right now. And yeah, so, I started my Instagram a couple years ago, kind of started organically out of my love for wine tasting. I was wine tasting all the time and documenting it. And one day people were like, "What's your blog? What's your URL?" And I was like, I don't have one, but I guess I should. So it really just started, organically out of my love and passion for all things wine. So yeah, I love connecting with small boutique wineries, drinking wine, going wine tasting. Right now, tasting wine on my couch with my cat is kind of where I'm at. But yeah, so I'm excited to be here.
Good. Well, thank you for coming. And, I just a little background, Raquel and I think one of her friends, they were going to come taste here at the vineyard what you're looking at. And unfortunately, we had the fires that kept us from having that happen. So we have been trying to sort of reconnect for a tasting. And under the current COVID circumstances, this is what we came up with. And Raquel actually has done a lot of virtual tasting. She's sort of behind the virtual tasting movement, for lack of a better word. And we've sort of tried to be the same and really advocate for, hey, you can taste at home, you can be separate, you can have your social distance, but at the same time have some fun together and really try some interesting wines. So I don't believe Raquel has ever tried our rosé and Chardonnay, so be fun to kind of tour through those. And I thought what we'd do is we'd start with the rosé if you have it, Raquel.
Oh, okay. I poured the Chardonnay. Let me go get another glass.
Okay.
Faux pas.
No. That's all right.
Are we starting with Chardonnay?
Oh, there's Smith Story Wines has joined us, some of our friends from Grand Cru.
Should I get another glass, or are we starting with Chardonnay?
So we could start with the rosé if it's okay. And,
yeah, just give me one sec.
Yeah, no rush at all. Sorry about that.
No, Dad, the camera keeps turning around.
Everybody want to see Nia, the camera person. You get to see her.
I'm not a tech person.
Yeah, that's okay. Just
Hi,
people
Stella.
like seeing you, Nia. It's okay, I promise. So a little bit about the rosé while Raquel's pouring. We kind of threw her for a loop there. Apologies. Our rosé, as Nicole mentioned, is 60% Zin, 40% Cab. Almost all of that Cab comes from this property, a little bit from our Alexander Valley, so you're getting to taste a bit of that Alexander Valley in it. But yeah, so rosés with Zin are going to have a lot of those fruit notes that you like, strawberry, a little lemon zest. But then there's a crispness at the end that comes from the Cab. It adds a little something in that sense, so it really pairs well with a lot. But let's see what everybody thinks, and I'm going to let the ladies, especially Mom and Nicole, talk about the wine.
It's a beautiful color.
Well, we have a lady on the video.
I like the color. I think, and as well as the taste. I think
It matches my outfit.
We planned that.
Cheers.
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 Thank you. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Cheers, everybody. Let us know what you're drinking in the comment section. Hopefully you have a Flambeaux rosé as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't, it's okay. You know, we always try to make this very informal, very fun, very relaxed. And we tell people, look, it's a free tasting, so bring what you have. We'd love to know what you're drinking, even if it's not Flambeaux, but hopefully you've got some Flambeaux and you can join us on this rosé.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful color.
Yeah, well, there's two ways to make rosé, at least that I know of. And there's what's called a bleed off, and it is essentially as you're making your wine, as you're crushing, as you're sorting, you're going to have juice from those grapes. You can use that for your rosé. So some people say it's sort of an unintentional rosé. That's actually not true. We actually do a little bit more bleed off to have more rosé and to really have some options with the different grapes. But then you can do a straight press, which is designed for a rosé to be, you know, sort of made from just the grapes that you're using and nothing else. And I wouldn't say one way is superior, but you'll see a lot of the sanglé, the bleed rosé, and there's some really beautiful examples of that.
We have a lot of rosé lovers here. Everybody's saying rosé all day, and
Good.
Yes.
I guess they
What's up, Justin?
Bacchanal this year because of the.
Yeah, that's a good. So we're from Raquel. I think you may notice we're from New Orleans, and there's a place in New Orleans called Bacchanal. We actually had the chef on and owner on 2 weeks ago, and he paired up some wine with our Cab, but he actually at Bacchanal they carry the rosé and they do something called Rosé Fest, and I think for this year it's probably been canceled, but we can't wait for that to come back.
That was a big
Yeah.
Asked what the average prices are for rosé.
Oh, you know what, Raquel? I'd love for you to answer that one if you know, because I've seen from your feed you definitely try a lot of rosés.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's one of my friends, Jenna. What's up, girl? She loves her rosé. I would say, you know what? It depends based on the region, right? I think you would agree, Art, because if you're getting something from Provence just based on the mere production and, you know, how much rosé they're producing, a lot of times those are cheaper and you can get more value for your dollar if you're choosing the right one. You know, since it has become such a well-known rosé region, you can get some that aren't that great either, you know? So I would say shoot for around the $15 to $20 range if you're getting a Provence rosé. Now something from that's super small production out of Sonoma County or Napa Valley, Central Coast, you might want to bump it up to $20, $30 range, just because, you know, the production there is going to be a lot smaller and the land, you know, to grow the grapes and just to harvest is a higher cost.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Raquel. So here's another little trick if you're looking for a good rosé. If you find a winemaker, you like their Cab, you like their Pinot, like odds are they're using that probably in a rosé. You'll probably like the rosé because it's the grapes that you like and so it's all kind of tied together. And in a lot of ways, that's a good way to find what you're looking for. But I agree. I think Sonoma, it's $20 to $30. We're at $25. We try to price specifically for our county what we think works. It's probably not the best business model, but we often just think about what we think works for the county. As people are coming to know Flambeaux, you know, we'll worry about pricing later. We want wines that people enjoy.
And I think it depends on your occasion too, right? I mean, if you're just looking for a porch pounder, let's be honest, then, you know, spend somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. Or if you're going out on the boat, buy a can, you know, try out a cheaper rosé if you're not going to really sit there and enjoy it. But if you want something portable, small winery, or if you want to actually sit and enjoy the wine, then bump up a little bit in your price.
Right, and I think that's a good point. And rosés that are a little bit more interesting like this, where you've got some other things going on. Cab is not something you see in a rosé a lot, but it really allows this wine to pair with a lot of different foods. It's got a range. I mean, you guys do the rosé with a lot of things. So you have
Very good with this cheese.
Yeah. There's a good question that came in. Champagne Bacchus wants to know if we use the same grapes in our rosé every year, or if we mix it up.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we really try to use the wine bleed off that works best. And it is really hard when you've bled off for a rosé to not use that, but you do it because if at the end of the day when you're doing a blending trial, you're not liking how it's coming out, I'd rather put it down the drain than make a wine we don't like. So we do not use everything that we intend at the outset to put into that wine necessarily. So for example, we do rosé of our Alexander Valley Cab and a rosé of the Dry Creek Cab. And almost every year, it's sort of a choice between those two because they are very different. And in this instance, it was the Dry Creek.
You know,
okay. Well, if we're okay to move on, I know you had already opened the Chardonnay, so we'll kind of just step into that. Yeah. Finish
yeah,
off.
and I haven't
we'll all
really
finish.
gone through.
We're not wasting.
I haven't really gone through many of the flavors, but I just really quickly wanted to say,
No,
I think based on the grapes with the Zinfandel and Cab, you know, there is a little bit more backbone and structure to this where it'd be great to pair it with food. I just made shrimp kebabs the other day, and this would have gone beautifully with them. But there's just a lot of bright acidity, you know, it coats the palate, makes you extremely thirsty. It's very thirst quenching. You want to keep going back for more. A little bit of sour cherry, you know, the melon vibe, raspberries, a little bit of minerality even. And it's just, yeah, a really beautiful rosé. Great job.
And I'm sorry, I should just ask you for your notes. And you know what's funny is those are pretty much spot on with what our winemaker says about this wine. It's funny. I don't want people to feel like they have to, you know, people will come to a tasting and they'll say, well, I can't taste all the things you're talking about. And I really, and I think everyone should agree with this. Whatever you're tasting, if you're liking it, that's all we care about. So, you know, if you're tasting a little bit of the strawberry or a little bit of the citrus, that's great. And so yeah. Raquel, having tasted a lot, you'll find as you taste more, you'll identify more of those different little flavor profiles and things going on. So Raquel's got a lot of experience and she's catching a lot.
And I think
it really does have a good, I think backbone is a great word for that rosé. And I think that allows it to pair with a lot.
And maybe that backbone also comes from, I noticed that you not only aged in stainless steel, but there's actually some oak on this, which is not maybe typical, you know, of the normal rosé. So what was the choice for putting this on oak for a little bit?
So the oak that we use, of course, is going to be used. You're not going to use new oak on rosé. You don't, because remember, it's not really an aging wine, but we do put a little oak because you're going to get a little bit of what was on those used barrels, just kind of imparting a little flavor on the wine. It's not heavy because, of course, it's a used barrel, but yeah, we like to kind of have that variety. And you'll see that in all of our wines, even the more, you know, the bigger wines. We try to use a lot of different cooperages, a lot of different, in both American and French oak. We have a lot going on because we think that the more you have in that spice rack, the more options you have, and frankly, the more complex the wine can be and the more interesting it can be. So yeah, we even on our rosé, we try to add a little bit of character that way. It's a great question. I think Mom had a question for you, Raquel.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm curious. Up until about 3 or 4 years ago, if somebody said rosé, I went, ew, and most people, that was their reaction. All of a sudden, rosé is very popular, particularly in the warmer months. What's happened? Has it just gotten that much better, or did people finally start experimenting with it?
Well, that's a great question, and I think the reason why is because everybody thought of blush wine, right, or a white Zinfandel, which no hate to white Zinfandel. I worked for Trincarol for many years, and that paid my bills. So, but yeah, I think a lot has changed. It's no longer the sweet pink wine like how it was being made before. Now, It's acquired a more sophisticated taste where it's higher in acid. It's bone dry a lot of times. So it's actually completely different. And I think it just took the mentality of the consumer to change and to try different things. And I think Provence is really what pushed that forward, you know, and kind of made the whole rosé movement happen. And another thing that is almost weird but very cool is that rosé has become more than just a beverage. It has become a lifestyle, right? You see all these like t-shirts with rosé all day, or you see these different groups or Instagram pages. And so I think because it's such an easy day drinking wine, and millennials like something that they can drink all day, you know, and during brunch, that it just kind of seemed to fit that need, you know, of a wine to do just that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think rosé has just come so far in not a lot of time. And what you're getting to see is a lot of variety too, which is great. Whereas used to be, you'd see a little bit of Pinot rosé. Now you have Grenache rosé, blend rosés between Grenache and Cab, all kinds of Syrah.
Absolutely.
Really
Sparkling.
interesting stuff that,
yeah.
That but for this market probably would never have been, you know, nobody would have tried it.
Yeah.
So I really do love it.
It's pretty, right? I mean, you have something pink in your glass, it's Instagrammable, and we are in the day of Instagram. So you want something to look good in your glass, in your story, pour a rosé.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so let's move into the Chardonnay, because I ramble on about the Chardonnay. I'm afraid I'm going to go long, so I'll just.
We did have a question about pairings.
Oh, okay. That's there was a question about what you pair with a rosé, and again, as we talked about, this rosé has a lot of range. So you could do shrimp tacos, ceviche. There's of course you could do spicy cheese, but it's also very good by itself. I think rosés have kind of become that wine that you're just going to drink on a hot day. I will tell you, and I think Raquel, I hope you agree. Don't ice your rosés. Don't get them so cold, because you're going to lose some of those interesting taste, things happening with the wine when it's too cold. So go for cellar temperature. Go for 55, somewhere in there. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but when it's too cold, you're going to lose some of that. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we threw you out of order. We threw you for loops. Do you have your Chardonnay, Raquel?
I do. Yes. So
Good.
This is the Chardonnay, so everybody can see the label.
There too. Good.
Beautiful nose.
Beautiful. So you guys, look, it's filtered. It's you will see some Chardonnays that are a little cloudier. That just means that it's not filtered. But what we're doing with this Chardonnay, this is San Giacomo fruit. We know the San Giacomo family. They're actually at Grand Cru with us, but they've been growing fruit forever, and they make beautiful, beautiful Chardonnay grapes. And so it was very logical. We can't make Chardonnay where we are, so we source our grapes from them, and we actually use two vineyards. You have Keyser and Roberts Road. They are very different, and they're bringing different things to this wine. But when you put them together, we think you get a really interesting wine. While we put French oak on this, Raquel, it's 100% French oak. It's only 40% new, and that's quite deliberate. We don't want this wine to be what some people will call overly buttery. It's that butter component that you'll get off of oak on a Chardonnay. So it's a little bit leaner, but that's designed. It's purposeful. We want you to taste what we think is some really pretty fruit. So hopefully you got a chance to sip it and let us know what you think.
I mean, it's jumping out of the glass. There's a lot coming from the nose. It's beautiful. I'm almost getting some, you can tell that there's some mallow on there for sure. But you're also getting some tropical notes, a lot of like lemon, citrus jumping out. Let me take a sip. Beautiful, creamy, soft palate, but still has that nice acidity. It's very bright. Right at the back of your tongue, on the taste buds there, you kind of get that same like puckering, thirst quenching thing going on. A lot more lemon curd. Very beautiful. This would be great on a nice warm day, but I could also see this pairing really well with foods. So drink it with food or without food. Those are the best wines, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. we're from New Orleans, and I don't know if you've been to New Orleans before, but foods are very buttery, fried, and they're kind of. And this wine just really pairs well, especially with seafood.
Yeah.
It's got
Calamari. This would be bomb.
Nia's waving at me. Hold on. Nia's the camera person, Raquel, by the way. This is our daughter. Go ahead.
I feel like I know a good pairing with this wine is fettuccine alfredo.
Fettuccine Alfredo. Actually,
She doesn't know that from experience.
she doesn't know that from experience, but she knows what
Yeah.
she likes to pair it with.
You've been practicing.
Yeah, I yab her on, and we have the ladies here. What do you guys think of the Chardonnay? What do you like to pair with it?
Well, I really like the Chardonnay. I was not a Chardonnay drinker before. So this one, it's a little bit more crisp than a lot of your more buttery Chardonnays. So I really love it. Of course, it goes great with fish and cheese. What do you like to pair it with, Patty?
Food.
Yeah, food. It goes great with food.
It's something that pairs with a lot of things. We do a lot of seafood. We don't do fish because Art doesn't eat fish, but we do shrimp. We do scallops.
This would be
lobster. It goes very well with all of that.
Mom, why don't you tell Raquel why I don't eat fish?
Because 100 years ago, he happened to get a bone when he was like 3 years old and a piece of fish, and he'll never eat fish again.
I don't want to
you
die.
you are missing out. You are royally missing out. But
I know.
I
have had some really good fish since then. But Raquel, just a little bit more about this wine. So it's a 2017. You can see that's not old for a Chardonnay, but it's certainly got a little bit more time on it since we released it. I'll tell you, when we first released it, it was just a different wine. And this is something that we try to explain to people who don't drink wine a lot is feel free to have the wine now. We're not going to release wines unless they're ready. But at the same time, if you can cellar some, do that, because you really will see these wines change. And this one's had a dramatic change, and frankly, for the better. It's just taken off. And you can, like you said, it was perfect terminology. It's jumping out of the glass. It really just started doing that recently.
So even Chardonnays get better with age? I always thought I knew red wines.
Absolutely. Chardonnays will age, and they will age, depending on how long they were left on oak and a lot of other factors. They can age for a good while. This wine will certainly age for 6 years, and then you'll just see it may plateau at some point after that, but it won't have a drop off probably for significantly after that.
How long would be too long to keep this before you drink it? Would you think?
I would go for 6 years as sort of my outer limit. Then I would start tasting it at least and seeing where it is. It will continue to get better. It just a lot of factors come into play. But this wine, Chardonnay in general, if you're hitting 10 years, you definitely want to drink it. Now there's some French whites that have a little bit more going on that you could hold even longer. So yeah.
Are these? We have a question from Wine Passion for Life. Are these wines sold anywhere in South Florida?
Actually, yes, they are. We are distributed in Florida, but the question was these wines. The wines that we're drinking today are not sold in Florida. Florida is in love with our cab, which has been a running theme, which is great. But we are trying to spread the word on the Chardonnay and Zin, which have just recently kind of been brought to market, and people are really catching on. But when you're known for your first 2 years having made cab, you have to kind of break that mold. So we're trying to get Florida on board. Until then, feel free to order it direct. We can ship to Florida, no problem, from our website. So you can order right on the website.
I love the dog in the background. What's his name?
Yeah, so
She's posing for
Stella.
us.
That's Stella. She's this is her ledge. They're actually
Shut her friends.
they're mountain dogs. They're Alps dogs, and they love cliffs, and they love to be on the edge of mountaintops, and they love to survey whatever they're guarding. So that's her thing.
He's beautiful.
Okay, these are the friends. This is Lucy, and there's Tess hiding over here.
Aw, hi.
So those are my parents' dogs. You get to see them just about every week because Mom insists.
And Art hates them.
I don't hate them. They're just not my thing. But we did have a question from Vince the Grape, and she wanted to know what the total production is at Flambeaux. Great question. We're at 1,500 cases now. We've been growing at about 20% per year, and that is a perfectly fine rate for us. I don't want to get over our skis, but things are going really well. So we're sort of trying to keep pace with the growth and the demand. And I think 20% is the foreseeable future is how we'll grow.
And I have a question to stem off of that, Art. What would you say is, you know, your future goals? You talked about kind of the level of production you want to increase by each year, but are there new varietals that will be coming our way? Anything else in the works?
All good questions. So the short version is this is really a passion project for us. We hope that when the kids are old enough, we have four girls, that they will want to take over and make it their thing. And hopefully by then it'll be a going concern as opposed to a money drain. So we like to think that they'll make some money. And look, you don't go into the wine business expecting to make money right away. If you do, I please call me and I'll stop you.
The long-term investment.
And we did not intend to make money for the first 10 years. That's most consultants will tell you that. So especially with cab, with wines that are going to sit in that barrel for a long time, you can't even sell them. We couldn't start selling until 2017, Raquel, because our first wine was the cab. It's 2 years in barrel and then another year sitting in bottles. So it's been a long road, and you gotta be in it for the long haul. But to answer your question, we are probably not going to bring in any other varietals, or Ryan, our winemaker, may kill us. We added the Zin and the Rosé and the Chardonnay, and now the Chardonnay's got him jumping to other vineyards. We have that second cab coming from Alexander Valley, so we've got him running, and he's got another gig as well. So we're probably going to take it easy for a bit. But if there was some wine in our future that I could see, a red blend of sorts, more of a Bordeaux style, is certainly something I'd like to do in the future. So we'll see.
Great. I would like to do a sparkling myself.
Yeah, we've got a lot of push for the sparkling.
Yeah, I love a good sparkling, so I would like to do that.
And as I'm sipping on the Chardonnay more, I realized what I would pair this with. Chicken piccata. I feel like capers and butter and lemon. It would just be, it'd be beautiful.
You know who has a great chicken piccata is Catelli's in Geyserville, I believe.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
And I paired this Chardonnay with it, and it is absolutely.
Their lasagna is out of this world.
Oh yeah,
Best lasagna in Sonoma County.
Nicole's is almost as good, but
Thank you.
but not quite.
No, so that's a good point, guys. When we are able to kind of get back out there, and when you're able to come visit, please do come visit. This county needs your support, and we need to get people out here going to the restaurants, going to the tasting rooms when it's possible. And Catelli's would be one of the ones at the top of my list. It's just a lot of fun. It's a little teeny town. As Raquel knows, it's Geyserville.
They're doing curbside right now.
Yeah, they're doing curbside. So if you're in the area, you can get it. So absolutely, yeah. But speaking of Italian food, before and I don't want to leave this Chardonnay right away, but while we're still sort of sipping it, Raquel, I didn't send you this, and I feel bad. I should have. This is our olive oil, estate olive oil. We've got olive trees throughout the property, and we make more and more of this every year, and it's only because it just sort of worked out where the trees finally are starting to come in and really produce. So
you owe me.
We did about 86 bottles of this year, Raquel, and I'll show you on camera. Let's see here. Can you see okay?
Oh. This is torture, Art. What are you doing?
I know. Look at that.
It's good dipping olive oil.
So I would really like, and we're going to get you a bottle of this, Raquel, for coming on, but and I should have sent it to you. But in the meantime, Nicole and Mom, talk about what you like to use this olive oil for, and why people should be buying it.
The olive oil has a very robust flavor. So I don't like to cook with it. I like to use it in hummus and on salad and stuff like that, drizzling it on salad where you can really, really taste it. Patty does my favorite salad, which is a grilled romaine salad, and she uses our olive oil on that, which I love.
I think we put that recipe on the website too. I mean, it's really simple. It's
You need a good griller.
I was just gonna say, Patty, where can we get your recipes?
Now Raquel, we'll have to get you some of these recipes. We have put a few online in advance of virtual tastings, and it's a mental note. In exactly 1 month, we're going to do a virtual tasting with Madrona Manor's chef, and I'm sure we'll do some interesting things, and I'll try to get him to pull that olive oil into that. But we've got to get you a bottle. I apologize. I should have thought about that.
Danny Mangin says, be sure to send some to the next guest.
Yes. Oh, and so Danny Mangin, I don't know if you know him, Raquel. He's a wonderful wine writer, and he's going to be, in 2 weeks, he's going to be our special guest. and he's asked that he get his olive oil as well. So we'll take care of both of you.
I get it first, Danny. Me first.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So yeah, it really is. It's a great olive oil. We do sell it to anyone via our website. We usually release it early to the club, but with our kind of expansion, we've been able to have some bottles for the general public. So there's still some left if you'd like to get some.
I think Patty needs a live cooking show.
Yeah, she does. She does.
I'm a disaster. I never get up on time.
She doesn't get anything out on time, Raquel, but she actually is a great cook, as is Nicole. For Mother's Day, since this is the Mother's Day special, we've promised, Dad and I have promised to go pick up brunch from the Brass Rabbit. Brass Rabbit is doing brunch. Have you been there, Raquel?
No, I haven't, but I love brunch.
So right on the plaza in Healdsburg, it is absolutely great food, and they do a wonderful brunch. And so I think we're going to get our Mother's Day brunch from there. And it saves me having to cook because you do not want to see me cook. It's terrible. It's not a pleasant sight. All I can do is pancakes.
I remember last year when we tried to make brunch.
Oh, yeah. We tried to make brunch last year, Raquel. It was, to say the least, it was a disaster. It was me and Nia, and it took 3 hours, and it was, she faked like she liked it. So
No, it was good.
It's the thought that counts, right? Just drink enough champagne that you don't notice.
We put some thought in for sure. So just before we end on the Chardonnay, we are getting a little low on this 17, and it's, again, one of the perks of the wine club is that you can get these wines a little early before they've been sort of attacked. But we do have a little bit of the Chardonnay left. So if you guys are interested, what I recommend is, whether it's for mom or yourself, get our Mother's Day package, which is what effectively this is. It's the rosé, the Chardonnay, and the olive oil, and you can order it right on the website. Get it to mom, get it to yourself, just have fun with it. And it's a good, for lack of a better word, starter set for Flambeaux. You can kind of work your way in. Although we recommend the Zen and the Cab, we'll talk about that for sure in future tastings. But Raquel, I actually kind of, now that we've gone through the wines and we're just sitting here having a drink, will you tell everybody a little bit about, you've been doing a lot of virtual tastings, and I want people to understand what it is that, first of all, why we're doing it, but also why you think it can work in this kind of modern, this change of circumstances that we've had.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it has to work, right? We're doing what we can with what we've got right now, and I think it's interesting how, with the wine industry being very traditional and sometimes behind on technology, how quickly the different wineries and different wine critics, wine writers, wine magazines have adapted and realized I need to be online. Right now, the only way your consumer is online. So we're at a pivotal point right now for the wine industry, and I think that it was kind of the push that we needed. So I think even when we are back from quarantine, that virtual tastings will still be a thing, and people will still be utilizing live and utilizing social media after they see the success that has come from it. That's just my 2 cents.
I think you would agree. It really has been a success. There is a great account, by the way, guys. A little plug. It is Virtual Tasting Room on Instagram, and they actually have plugged our virtual tastings, the last two, and it's a really great place to find people doing this. So you don't have to think about what wines may be doing it. Most of us have shifted to this because it's what you have to do now to kind of be able to interact with people. But I think even when people can still come here, we're going to continue to do this because I think look, there's no barrier to entry. You don't need a plane. You don't need to, jump on just have a wine, even if it's not our wine. Yeah. Come have some fun. It is, and frankly, it's just a break from the norm for all of us too. Yeah. So
there's no better time. There's no better time to learn about wine than right now. Like, if you have ever been interested in wine, if you want to learn more, if you want to try more varietals, there is so much free education and knowledge happening right now with so many people going live and offering you their knowledge and their expertise who normally would not without a cost behind it.
Right. No, I think this is, we're seeing a little bit of the future right here. And thank you so much for giving us your time and trying the wines. And I hope you really enjoyed them. And obviously, we still have to get you out here in person.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to see that view.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to get there in person.
Have Nia show you. This is the Cabernet behind us, and the Zin's on the other side of the hill there. So there's those olive trees we mentioned. So come. That's an incentive. Come visit us, please.
Next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. And Nia, do you know how to disconnect? Okay, she's got it. All right, thank you, Raquel.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Good meeting you.
Okay, so now lovely guest, and we got to hear her thoughts on the wines. And I think now what we want to do is sort of catch up with what people have been saying. So, Nia, you're kind of up to speed on what the comments have been. Has anybody been asking any questions or anybody trying to tap in?
Well, I saw one question. I was curious too. Does the Chardonnay pair well with hummus?
That was a question for Nicole.
Everything pairs well with hummus, but no, the Chardonnay actually does pair well with the hummus. And I also use the Flambeaux olive oil in it, which gives it a little extra kick. So.
Mom makes the best hummus in the world.
She does.
That's true. That's true.
Thank you.
Nia's our hype man. So,
Vince DeGrape has said next time we should do a walk through the beautiful vines.
Yeah, so Vince DeGrape, account on Instagram, who I was going to announce it later, but might as well just get it out, has won our photo contest with, at least at the last time I checked, 342 likes on the picture. In fact, it was a series of pictures, really wonderful. But what was great about it was she had come out and gotten the wines on a bike ride and came to the vineyard and then was able to kind of see the vineyard. And we encourage people to do that. And these times you can pick it up at the base of the hill. You don't have to interact with us or see us, and you can get your wine. So she did that, posted a great picture, like 74 comments, 342 likes. So the winner of our photo contest, and she will get the Willy Wonka-esque prize that we have planned for her. So we'll talk about that. I'll get you offline.
You got a happy birthday message.
From her.
Tomorrow is Art's birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
So happy birthday, Art.
Let's just say I'm a year older tomorrow. So yeah, we did ask for questions and we got a couple. I don't know if we had any others that we haven't answered, but
we have a request to post the hummus recipe. We will do that.
I was wondering.
Yes.
And also Aunt Patty requested to join.
Okay. So let's do a few things. Let me answer these questions. We had two questions come in. They're both very good. Marcus Stein, our friend from Louisiana, I believe he's in Houma Thibodeau area. Maybe which one?
Well, both Thibodeau and New Orleans.
Okay, Thibodeau and New Orleans. Depends on
the day.
Anyway, Marcus has asked a good question. He says, and I'm going to read it verbatim, where do you see the tasting and tour side of winemaking going post-COVID? I think we covered that a little bit with Raquel, but what I will say is I think that everyone's going to have to pivot a little bit. There'll be obviously a little bit less restaurant traffic for a while. So we need to connect. And frankly, it's not a bad thing, even for big brands, to get out there and to try to have some one-on-one time with the regular consumer who can order from most states. You can order online. So, direct without having a middleman. So I think it's an opportunity to make a little bit better connection with our audience. So hopefully we can turn it into a positive. Second question from Carla Lippincott at Lippin on Instagram.
Hey, Carla, we love you.
She wants to know, did Stella make the cover of Wine Dogs? And if not, she says that she should have. The answer is she did make the cover, but it's a little bit of a trick question. So you can get a special edition where your dog that's in the book is on the cover. And we ordered 100 of those. There's a special edition for you guys who want to see Stella on the cover. That you can order it right on the website. You can pre-order now. They should be in later this month.
She's going to autograph them too, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A little trick. She's going to autograph them with her paw. So you get, of those 100 books, you get a autographed copy from Stella.
Which she will love to do, I'm sure.
Anyone who knows me knows that the moment that we started making wine, it was 90% to get her on the cover of a book. So we did it. Mission accomplished. Okay. So we've talked about Stella. You've interacted with Nia. I think the next thing to do, unless we have anyone who wants to join, I know people hate to be on video, but do we have Patty? Okay, bring in Patty.
Okay.
For those of you who have joined us before, you know that my sister Patty comes on and she asked a trivia question. This week, I want you to see the booty. I want you to see the prize. So can you see that okay, Nia?
Mm-hmm.
A hat And these are dishwasher safe Govino glasses. They don't break, and you can take them outside, and they have Flambeaux on them. So there's your swag, but you have to get the question right. And hopefully Patty's joining in. Are you having an issue?
No, I'm letting her in now.
Okay, she's got.
Hi, Patty.
I didn't know if you wanted me to let her in yet.
We're gonna have a little talk after this. We don't pay her very much, Patty. I'm
Don't
sorry.
pay me at all.
Not
at all.
So we don't pay her enough.
Double your salary if it's not.
Hey, Patty, what you up to?
Woohoo!
All right, Patty had a
Hello.
really good. She's really had a couple of good in a row. Some good trivia questions. They're fun. I'm gonna let her take it over.
Okay, in honor of Mother's Day, the question today is, on average, in the first year for a new mom, how many diapers does she have to change?
Oh my gosh.
On average.
2 million.
1,000.
How many diapers in the first
I'm
year?
very adamant about that.
Okay.
Let's see what people are coming up with. And look, guys, just take a guess, because if it's in a certain range, we're gonna give it to them, right, Patty?
I'll read the guesses to you.
Whoever gets the closest in the range first.
1,500
Look at Rob coming in with 1,500.
slot.
Woo, Rob.
Joaquin did
Not
1,800,000.
yet. Not yet.
I think Rob's right. That's what it feels like.
Benny.
Benny.
Kevin's just Benny. I like that.
2,500.
Oh, Mackenzie Roberts. Mackenzie wins.
Roberts. Sorry, guys.
2,500 to 3,000 diapers in the first year. Mama needs wine.
2,500 to 3,000. That is the. I don't know if you're a really good Googler, but I'm proud of you. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So there's your answer for Mother's Day. Mothers suffer with these babies, and then and then they need the wine. So it fits.
They
perfect.
need wine. She needs a glass of wine.
Okay, we do have a question from Oscar at Beyond the Taste. For your Chardonnay, are you using new oak, neutral barrels, or stainless steel? We mentioned it's 100% French oak, but it's only 40% new. So as we said, it's going to give you a little bit more of that fruit and a little bit less of the oak taste, that butter taste. And we think it works really well in this wine. But we want to know what you think. So check it out. Well, Patty, again, you nailed it with your trivia question. I think we winner. I will message you, Mackenzie, and you will have your hat and outside safe glasses. So, okay. So really quickly, just so you know.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
2 weeks.
Bye, Patty. I'm sorry.
Bye, Patty. Thank you, Patty.
So in 2 weeks, we do these every 2 weeks. We're going to have a special guest. Danny Mangian is going to come on with us. As I mentioned, he's certainly commented the last couple of times. Excellent wine reviewer, wine writer. Does some really interesting books that I want to talk about with him. And okay. And we have a good question coming in. I'll get to that in a second. So when Danny comes on, we're going to have a lot of fun, and you're really going to get to see his perspective on what's happening now with the wine industry and what he expects to happen in the future. So I think we'll have some fun with Danny. Really nice guy. We had him out here. He's been here for a tasting before, so he knows the property. We'll have a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to that. We do have a question I want to get to before we cut off.
Cat Cruiser.
Okay, Cat Cruiser asked, does the fog affect the grapes? Absolutely. And in fact, I learned something fun. I always learning new things, and you guys might have learned it. I was hearing the last few weeks a helicopter noise. And I mean, it was just like really, really loud, right?
Yeah.
That is not a helicopter. That is the fog, the blowers for the fog on the valley floor. So when they turn on, apparently it's like a vortex.
It's a roar.
Very loud roar. Sounds like a helicopter. I didn't know what that was. And the reason I didn't know what it was is we haven't had that very often. So this year has been a fog year, and you're hearing it more. The point is lower to the valley floor, as he figured out. Heat rises, cold descends. Lower to the valley floor, you're going to have some fog. You could have some frosting. That can be an issue. We're a little higher up. We're never really in that fog layer. At least it's very rare. So it's not an issue for us as much. And knock on wood, it hasn't been an issue this year. So we expect to have a really good year. COVID aside, it's been Mother Nature has been very kind, and we're really excited about the year that we have ahead. So, just last note: order your wine for the next tasting. You guys, if you order it in advance, you'll have it. You'll be able to drink with us. You know about the packages that we have. There's all kinds of different ones for the tasting you can do. You can go big. You can go. Yeah, so we actually haven't decided that. We're going to talk with Danny about that. We'll do something interesting. I'm thinking the 16 Dry Creek, but we'll see. We'll see. And
don't forget to order your Mother's Day packages.
Thank you. Don't forget to order your Mother's Day package. You can still get them. You can order through the weekend and still get them in time for Mother's Day, no problem. And then we can do expedited if you're really in a crack. So it should be fine, and it should be, I think, a great Mother's Day. It's looking like good weather, and everything's going to course. So if nothing else, we're gonna let you guys go, and we will see you in 2 weeks. We'll give you more announcements as we get closer to it.
Thank you.